Oklahoma flower farm that sells retail market bouquets from our roadside stand. It is Mother's Day weekend and we don't really have flowers. Kind of the worst possible scenario for Mother's Day weekend because Easter and then Mother's Day are the biggest flower purchasing weekends for the flower farmer. And so that's not a good thing. Behind me is our sunflower field, and we gambled and we direct sowed sunflowers in early March with the hope that they would bloom for Mother's Day. And they're not ready. So, I mean, there was a high chance of this happening. I had hoped otherwise. The funny thing is they're probably going to bloom. Eric, you can show some of these closer ones. They're probably gonna bloom sometime next week. Ooh, look at this. Enemy. Cucumber beetle. They're probably gonna bloom next week, which is not the end of the world in that that means I will have flowers next week and beyond for sunflowers, but I really wanted them for this weekend, and I'll tell you why. There's always a time for every flower farm, no matter where you grow, where there's a little bit of a gap and lull in flowers. Typically in the Midwest and like zone 6 and cooler, so the northern part of this country, that gap usually occurs in June. That's why you hear a lot of talk about getting through the June hump, the gap, with a lot of perennials that people plant. Well, in Oklahoma, our gap time period is unfortunately right about now through the end of May. So of course we struggle for Mother's Day flowers, and this is universal, not just to me. All the other flower farmers in Oklahoma are like scraping and scrounging to figure out what to grow because it's too hot for our ranunculus and anemones. Tulips have been done for like, my goodness, like 6 weeks it feels like, but we haven't been warm long enough for our summer annuals. Eric, if you pan over to our summer annual section, you can see they're all planted, they're all growing, but we haven't been warm enough since our last frost for them to be our main focus in our bouquets. So we're in this like weird interim where we can grow a lot of like fluffy filler. So we can grow nigella and buplurum and larkspur and bachelor buttons, but that doesn't really make a full bouquet. I don't think so. I think it mainly looks a little bit too wildflowery because there's not a big focal. And our peony field is not yet ready. The peonies would be already done by this point, but we would have had them stockpiled in the cooler would be the solution, but we're not there. So we have winding down snapdragons. We have our larkspur and buplurum, but we are struggling for a focal flower for our bouquets so that they're like wow and not just filler.
What about this flower?
Wildflower. This is larkspur. Oh no, that I think is poison hemlock.
What about that one? Can we sell this?
Yeah, it's called poison hemlock and it killed Socrates, so no.
We're selling Socrates on Mother's Day. There's some
this
serious.
could get dark real fast. Our future solution to this May gap problem with Mother's Day is our peony field that we planted in November. But this is only a solution field like 3 years from now. So got to do something else before then.
Where all these flowers come from?
I know. So our solution for Mother's Day is to call an SOS to all of my other flower farming friends in the area, particularly the ones that have been growing for like 4 or 5 years. So they're a little bit older than us. So they have more experience or their fields are more mature for them to cut on. They've dialed in their planting and their timing a bit better as we're still learning in year 3. And they have come through and we're gonna have Mother's Day flowers. So I have flowers here from our farm and then 3 other flower farms in the Tulsa area. They're all about 35 to 45 minutes from me. So we don't really overlap much in customers, and they all primarily sell to florists. So they're used to selling wholesale. And so I just kind of became one of their wholesale customers. And I went and picked up the flowers today. Some of them were delivered, plus our flowers. We're not going to be able to make as many bouquets as I think we could sell, but we are going to be open and we are going to sell way more than we would otherwise if we were just using flowers from our farm. So what we have blooming on our farm right now are snapdragons, larkspur, and buplurum. Yes, that's what we have, which are great filler-ish, filler and accents, but like I said, they don't make a focal. So that's what we're able to contribute. I have about 6 buckets of ours in all of this. Some of them are in the cooler, a little bit of Orlea, but not enough to even really consider it in the count. So we have 6 of our buckets to contribute, which makes me happy. And then I'll show you what we got from the other flower farmers locally. The reason I did this instead of just buying general wholesale, going to Trader Joe's sort of thing, is a big part of our marketing, and what we believe principally is we want to support the local flower movement. We want to support domestically grown flowers. So going to Trader Joe's and buying stock that was grown in Ecuador and then selling it to our customers after I advertise all the time about how we're a locally grown cut flower farm, that doesn't work. So buying from other Oklahoma locally grown flower farms fits within our messaging and our principles. And so what they contributed, I'm really excited about because we don't grow them on our farm yet, is we've got Baptisia here, which is great. This is a perennial that takes a little while to establish, like a peony. She's been growing for, I think, 6+ years. So she definitely has her perennial game strong. So we have 2 buckets of Baptisia. But the most excited contribution from this flower farmer is peonies. So again, she's been around for a little bit longer. She has the perennial infrastructure in place. And so we bought 150 peonies from her. So we have white. To me, that looks like bowl of cream peony. We've got your classic Sarahs, and we got your coral charms here. So the classic peonies, they're beautifully harvested. If you can tell, they're great quality. They're harvested at the right time. They're delivered properly. So if you're going to sell wholesale, like when we talked to Ellen Frost in that interview we did about selling to a florist and selling wholesale, Sarah here, my friend, knocked it out of the park in her execution of excellent harvest and quality and delivery. She did a great job. So that's from that farm. The other farm that I got some from, she's about 50 minutes away from us. She has a bunch of high tunnels. She has a lot of tunnel infrastructure, so she knocks it out of the park in the spring. She gave us 100 stems of campanula. So campanula, Canterbury bells, bellflower, whatever you call it. These beautiful lavender ones. I learned a good lesson for next year. We'll talk about this in some, like, we're going to do debrief videos and lessons learned and stuff. So it's kind of all consolidated in one video, but kind of seeing what she's doing helps me. Her being 50 minutes away, it's still the same growing climate conditions to kind of emulate and copy and pick up some tips to do what she's been doing. I think this is her 6th year, so she's definitely got it really focused. And then from Allison, who you guys all met in my interview that I did with her, Allison at Sunshine and Stems, I've got 2 big buckets of Buplorum. You know that I'm not huge on filler in general, but in spring, that's just what has to happen. And Buplorum is a great option. There at least is a little bit of a flower on it, and it's not pure greenery. But then she also added some larkspur, some snapdragons, some early sunflowers, and some status here. So lots of nice, like, secondary and additional flowers to add. Yeah, and my favorite flower, straw flower. She probably put those in as a joke too, because she knows I don't like straw flower. People like straw flower though. She's got some early tinier sunnies, because that's kind of what happens this time of year, but this will be great. So we went from having a bunch of filler and no defined recipe for a bouquet and only being able to make probably 30 bouquets, maybe 40 if I was really lucky with that volume. We are now going to get well over 100, which I'm excited about with all of this. And the main recipe focals are going to be 1 peony and 1 campanula, 1 bellflower in each. And that'll be the focal. And then they'll have lots of really beautiful extras around it with the Buplorum and the larkspur, the snapdragons, the Baptisia, all of that. So these are actually going to go from I'm nervous and feel lame to really beautiful locally grown flowers.
It'll be kind of fun because with the 3 different peony colors, people will choose their main star.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea, because there's going to be there's only going to be 1 in each. So I bet you want to make a bet? Let's do a bet right now, live.
All right, what's the bet?
Since each bouquet is going to have a different color peony, which of the 3 colors do you think is going to sell out first?
Coral.
Yeah, coral. So we don't disagree.
Yeah.
Coral or Sarah, because everyone recognizes Sarah, so they're going to know 100% that's a
But a lot of
peony.
people have Sarahs here
True.
in their property.
Okay, it's probably coral. That also means we probably should buy more coral because I think we only have 60 coral.
Probably.
planted.
Just get more coral.
Just get more
All coral.
All the coral, he says. Coral is really beautiful. It doesn't smell good, though, like some of the other ones. Anyways, you can't be perfect. So this is what we have. What we also are going to do is, because Mother's Day is when people have generally like a higher spending habit, like it's a holiday, they are going into it wanting it to gift these to someone. They want to spend more money than they would on like a random Saturday in June to buy flowers. We also want to try to capture that spirit, that energy of wanting to spend more. And so we are going to have, I can show you here, we're going to have gift certificates available. So I've started the process of that. So we have them printed, and I'll write a number here, like I'll number them. So I have a little bit of a way to track how many go out, how many we sell. And then as a way to entice, it's also coming with a free packet of sunflower seeds. And so I still have to put my sunflower sticker on them. And then with some of my gold or pink ribbon, I will tie a cute bow. So it's a cute little bundle. So in theory, what I'm hoping happens is that they grab a bouquet and a gift certificate. A lot of my marketing have been like, buy mom flowers now and for later. So they get a gift certificate for a future purchase. They can plant sunflowers in their own garden. They can have flowers for this weekend. Or if we sell out really quickly, maybe people would still be willing to support us by buying a gift certificate for future flowers to maybe tack on with whatever else they're purchasing for mom. And then we also are going to have our gladiolus bulbs will continue to be sold, and I'm going to run a sale on them. And then we're going to have produce again from the local produce farmer across the street from us. So in theory, they could get fresh produce for a wonderful Mother's Day dinner. They could get a gift certificate for flowers later with free sunflower seeds. They can get glad bulbs for mom's garden or container, and fresh flowers to take home to treat her with. And so it's like lots of options, full and abundant choices instead of just straight number of bouquets. Ideally, I wish we had 200, 250 bouquets. That is, I think, Eric, turn your mic on and tell me if you agree for next year as a goal.
Next year, our goal is a $10,000 day.
Okay. Well, that's a lot more than 200, 250. Guys, this is the first time I've heard this
300.
goal. We just heard this together. Are you all as panicked as I am?
Next year, the video, 10,000 in one day.
They're going to hold it to us. They're going to be like, where is it? Okay, well, we need to get through tomorrow. And tomorrow will be maybe like, I don't know. This is the scary part about YouTube. We film all of this ahead of time, not knowing what's about to happen tomorrow. But Easter did really well. So if it's similar holiday spirit, we should have lots of turnout. But what I've done is I've got everything out. I've got the wraps pre-folded. So I'm ready. I've got my station largely ready. We're going to a little event with the kids in a couple hours. And then when we come back at night, I think my goal is maybe to make half tonight and then half early tomorrow morning and get the stand stocked. And Eric's going to put the drone up and see how far the car line goes like it did for Easter, which on the one hand, I want it to be long because I want to sell out and I want things to just be like, go really well. And on the other hand, if we do sell out and we sell out really quickly, it's a little bit of those nerves of feeling like you disappointed people, not having the volume for our demand. But there's not really anything we can do about that in the immediate because I literally purchased as much as my friends could give me.
We were talking about delaying. I mean, we got lots of thoughts for further videos.
Yeah, it'll be
good. It's clear that I think from a labor issue will probably just be, for these big days, really will become more of a local co-op sale than just everything is from here. And I don't think that's a problem. Like you said, we can really support local farms and get their product because we're creating demand here that's through the roof and people want it. And our customer
would rather leave with a bouquet with Oklahoma grown flowers than not have a bouquet because they weren't all grown at CDF.
Tomorrow we might be doing a little bit of, I run down the line of cars and say, you may not get flowers.
Yeah, because one of the issues is, and I don't know if I want to like solve this problem per se, because it's all the same to us financially, but like we'll have people come and they'll buy like 5 or 6 bouquets, that one person. And so you can't totally count.
I feel like that's a higher risk for Mother's Day than it was for Easter.
Well, and Easter was crazy.
Easter we had with like 6 bouquets.
Yeah. So like, it's not even about like counting cars.
That'll be hard because I won't know how many people want to buy, and we don't want to put like a 1 or 2 bouquet limit.
That's the thing about, I don't know if I want to solve it because I don't really want to limit because it's still, we're selling out. But yeah, it makes it tricky when we're looking at a car.
And people that show up at like probably 8 o'clock tomorrow,
yeah,
they're going to be like, if I want 6 bouquets, like I waited in line for 1 hour to do it. And it's kind of like, yeah, you got a point.
I know.
You put that investment in and you sit there for 1 hour.
And the people that do that are our regular customers. They're not a random person I haven't seen before. They're people that are like, I've already bought from you 4 times this year. So I don't want to limit that either. We should put a timestamp because you're going to do the video. You should put a timestamp tomorrow on when the first car shows up in line. Like it's like 8:21 or something like that. So we went from utter and complete panic to having options for Mother's Day, which I'm thankful. So we have to go to our event. I've got to get changed and stuff. We got to go to our event. And then when you see us back, I will be making bouquets rapid speed as fast as I can to get ready for tomorrow. So it's 10:30 and we are sold out. I have to be honest with you guys, it's really hard to film YouTube videos on big sales days because in that time lapse you saw, my mom and I were working down to like 8:35 to get all of our bouquets made and in the stand and set up. So we didn't have time to do our usual like check-in, but we were able to make more than 150 bouquets, which wasn't quite our Easter number, but we made every single bouquet out of all of the stems. I had maybe like 20 or 30 larkspur left over, which I think is a huge accomplishment. I told you guys back probably sometime in the winter that one of our goals is just to get better at like tracking stems and inventory and being able to like guesstimate and just do better planning. And so the fact that I didn't have any waste and our recipes worked really well, that's a win. I'm also super excited that we sold out. I figured we would because it's Mother's Day and it's a little bit of an easier sell to sell on Mother's Day. What I was really worried about is that we just were not going to have enough volume and we were going to have to turn a lot of people away. but it turned into a little bit of a loaves and fishes situation. It was like pure chaos for the first 45 minutes, trickled down a little bit, and we just sold the last couple. I'm sure there's going to be stragglers that come, but the worst case scenario is people who have waited in line for a while, and we have to go out and tell them we sold out. And that didn't happen. So I'm very thankful for that. Mother's Day went great. To give you a little more details, what we did is we didn't raise our prices. I think in maybe a farmer's market setup or consignment where someone's a one-time purchase of your flowers, raising your prices is a bit easier. When you have a flower stand and people are used to coming consistently to you and paying a certain price, I think it's a hard marketing lift to suddenly change your prices just for Mother's Day. So I wanted to keep them at 25. And what ended up happening is I think I had 5 or 6 people buy 1 bouquet. It's almost like the minimum purchase was 2 bouquets. Tons of people bought 3, double-digit amount of people bought 4. And so because of that, I think it was right to keep our price the same $25 value, and then people could buy multiples if they wanted for a bigger bouquet for mom, or they wanted to buy 2, and so they were able to get 1 for mom, 1 for grandma, that sort of thing. I think that was the right way to go in the flower stand context versus like a holiday price increase. I don't love the optics quite of that, but it worked wonderfully. I would like to give pretty much all the credit to Eric because like a week ago, he just gave me a funny face behind the camera. No, you have to listen.
That's me.
That's you. You have to listen now.
I'm here. Mike's.
No, but like a week ago, 10 days ago, I was in like full panic emote mode because I knew we were largely going to have snapdragons, larkspur, and buplorum. We weren't going to have enough volume. Those are not enough to make a bouquet. I'm not just going to sell those 3 flowers together. And he was the one that really encouraged me to reach out to all of my flower farming friends and to hustle and accumulate more flowers for us. And honestly, that was the key to today. Each bouquet had 1 peony. Each bouquet had a campanula. Those were our focals. People freaked out and were super excited. And so his encouragement to do that and to problem solve was super wise and was the reason we were successful today. So what do you have to say, Mike, man? Accept your award for Mother's Day hero.
But this is like everyone, this is just like your flowers.
I know everyone thinks that this is my flower farm. These are my bouquets because I do the marketing or I'm like the face. And oh, we have a car driving up.
This guy's gonna dash out.
Is he going away? I mean, the gate's closed, so I don't know what he's going to do. Yet. It is closed.
Well, this gate isn't.
Oh.
I should close the exit gate. Let's close the exit gate. We can do that on camera.
Well, you have to tell him. Oh, no. Sorry, buddy.
He waved. We got a signal that we're not open anymore. This is the really hard part. What was I going to say?
About how you're the hero of Mother's Day, and everyone thinks it's my flower farm, but like they have no idea that actually.
I mean, the reality is we're recognizing we've created we had this discussion last year where we were. You can come over here. You can be in the camera.
Okay, I'm responding to Instagram.
The selfie shot.
Oh, yeah, I have to be up higher because you're so tall.
Oh, there we go. See if I can get us both in the shot.
There, I'm not this tall. I'm on a ledge.
Some of what we're realizing, and we talked about this last year, is because of the marketing, our farm is a bit outsized to the size and scope of the flowers we have.
Is it possible to do too good of a job marketing and then you create a problem for yourself?
Yeah, we've created a problem. We have a lot more people that want flowers than we have flowers right now.
Yeah.
And some of that's just because you got to wait, especially for May. But how do you run a business that is consistent? Because one of the biggest things I think a business needs to do is to just be consistent. We already closed one Saturday.
This was your wisdom here.
We already closed one Saturday. I mean, people barely understand your address. In fact, this week it's hilarious. She announced yesterday that we're open at 9 a.m. The first comment was, "When are you open?"
Like, I teach my little boys to read as a homeschool mom, and like their reading comprehension feels better than
I think people are just moving too fast in today's society with all these phones and iPhones in our hands. We're not absorbing. Our brains are not comprehending. We're moving faster than our brains.
It's like pretty flower picture. I want flowers. Ask a question instead of like the pause.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me don't talk much?
Stop it. No. I want you to finish that thought, though, because that's key. It's the
consistency.
Yeah.
Over and over again, we're hammering in. We open Saturdays at 9. People are getting used to it. We have a lot of people that show up late and they're like, I figured if I came late, I wouldn't get any. And I'd rather move towards them being like, if you show up late, like being like an hour in,
10:45,
that you can still get them. I mean, we need to move there.
That's
this is
like
why
your 4 goal is.
Yeah, I think next year we really want to try to do that.
Yeah, our goal
$7,500 to $10,000 day with 300 plus bouquets and glad bulbs. And,
yeah, our goal is to say the flower stand is open 9 to 6, and those are our hours, not 9 until sellout, and then that fluctuates and it's stressful. Right. All of that, but yes,
consistent. Like we're trying to not be closed any particular length of time. Like,
but like
open this Saturday, not open this, and that's hard.
Yeah,
but like it's unfortunate because ag is a world where it's like, hey. As you have product.
Yeah, it's not airplane shipments of flowers that are just dialed in. Yeah.
But it's still like, because people are used to that, you got to try to do it. So that's
well, so that was the decision we made this weekend. It's like, did buying wholesale flowers cut into our profit margin versus selling our own flowers? Yeah, of course. But what was better, to be closed because we didn't have enough volume, or to eat a bit more profit and be open and be that like consistent source of flowers on a big flower holiday for our customers? And that was the advice Eeeek was giving, and that was the right one. And so I'm glad that we did that, because this weekend ended up way better than it would have been.
I think we're gonna. Because of that. We have labor problems in our farm. We don't really want to hire.
Labor problems. We sound like a government.
We have labor strikes.
Our monthly jobs report is down.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't really want to hire. Maybe we'll hire, but like we have kids. We're trying to.
We've got a little kid washing buckets in the cottage right now, so.
But we are, we're a quarter acre, if that. Mm-hmm. We probably need another field or two and tunnel to even start meeting demand. But I think we're building a market here that we're going to always have to buy some from our local flower friends. And I think the peonies you got this year were excellent.
The peonies were like the showstopper.
I think we'll buy those every year and keep buying more.
I need to tell her, put me on your calendar.
Yeah, we'll buy all your peonies.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Nice to have buying power as part of this business where you can reliably buy even at higher prices.
Yeah, I knew that was like a little bit of a hard invoice to swallow, but at the same time I knew we were going to sell out. So it was the right decision.
Well, earlier this week you were like, that's so pricey. I'm like, buy them all.
Oh, yeah.
I told you on Wednesday, buy them all.
You're right.
And you were like, I don't want that. She's charging me $5 a peony. And I'm like, doesn't matter.
I emote more. I know that's a big shocker that the female is the stress one.
Run those numbers. It's like, we knew how many we could make, and you came up with a formula. We stressed it out.
Oh yeah, I had a very strict
You didn't put 4 peonies in each one.
Yeah, 1 peony.
So.
Yeah, we had a very strict formula I stuck to, so I know we would stay profitable, because again, we always talk about not overstuffing. If I had to pay wholesale.
My angles are weird here just because I'm like holding the camera weird.
If I had to pay wholesale prices for the flowers and I overstuffed, it's like I'm essentially working for free. Like there would have been no profit in that. We probably still would have done it, but it wouldn't have been as smart. So I was really strict on the formula.
Because getting to 160, 161.
Yeah, we didn't beat Easter, but
we didn't have. We would have beat Easter if we had more.
Yeah, we sold some gift certificates, a couple, and we sold a lot of gladiola bulbs, and so that as additional purchases, so that brought us a little bit higher than just the straight bouquet sale. And we're still going to continue to have a little bit of a flower problem through May. We're going to have hopefully sunflowers. It's going to be a little tricky to have additional flowers around them. It's something I can fix next year. But then in early June, when we have the rest of the snaps, the status, more sunnies, the zinnias get going, we're going to be back into it's like feast and famine. We're going to be feasting in June with summer flowers. So that won't be an issue. Could you get closer to my face as the shot goes on? Guys, it's a feat of strength.
We have all these different YouTube tools. People do these big iPhone gimbals, but then we've been using other tools. So, yeah, what are we doing today?
Eeeek is tearing down the rest of the fall sown overwintered snapdragons. We have our summer ones planted. So he's going to rip those down so we can flip the beds. I'm planting zinnia and basil plugs. We're weeding the peony field, all of that stuff. It's like we got to do all the pretty stuff with the flowers, and now I have my muck boots on and it's about to get gross. Beautiful, right?
We're still recovering from a lot of that rain.
Yeah, it's pretty gross out there. But to summarize,
Here's the fields.
our Mother's Day turned out to be so much better than I thought it was going to be 10 days ago because of the smart business decisions that Eeeek encouraged. And so hopefully that might be adaptable to your farm. If you're trying to scale up and you might not have all the flowers that you would like to have, to consider buying wholesale from trusted local growers and bulk up your volume that way, so you can continue to work on consistency, building your customer base, having them know that you're a source for quality flowers, as you're also working on your own fields and building up your own production capabilities. That's really what we learned this weekend, and we're gonna continue using that, I think, especially if we have a lower flower weekend. I know what I can do to problem solve that. So thanks for watching. It always feels a bit like chaotic drinking from a fire hose on Saturday mornings, but it's something to celebrate. It's Mother's Day for us, me as a mama of 5 now, and my mom is here, so we're gonna get the farm tours done. I'm gonna go do the business computer work that I do on Saturday afternoons. And then Eeeek and I are gonna go on a date night to celebrate Mother's Day.
We have a date night tonight.
Yeah, we have a date night. We'll probably talk about flower farming, but it's a joy.
That's fun.
So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you had a great Mother's Day, or you're planning for next year to have a mega Mother's Day and set some lofty goals for a profitable flower farm. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
There you go, good artistic shot.
I'm finding some bouquet.
Give Barrett's bouquet.
No, I'm gonna make one too.
Can you find more? What a beautiful bouquet. What do you call it? You don't know. And now we have Meerkat's bouquet.
You like my wee bouquet? It would cost $100.